In the early hours of what would become a historic day for southern Mexico, conditions rapidly deteriorated as Hurricane Erick, now a powerful Category 4 storm, approached the coastline with alarming speed. The storm had undergone a phase of explosive intensification overnight, transforming from a tropical cyclone into one of the strongest systems to strike the Pacific side of Mexico in recent memory. By sunrise, the first bands of wind and rain had begun sweeping across Puerto Escondido. Despite red flag warnings along Cicatela Beach, some tourists were still enjoying the shoreline, unaware of the scale of danger approaching. Meanwhile, seasoned fishermen secured their boats. Local authorities began issuing stronger evacuation advisories, and emergency shelters began filling with residents seeking refuge. By mid-morning, the situation changed drastically. Palm trees began bending under the pressure of sustained winds surpassing 125 miles per hour. Rain came in violent sheets, and the ocean shifted from turquoise to slate gray, foreshadowing what was coming. Then came the storm surge, an unstoppable wall of water pushed inland by Erick's immense low-pressure system and powerful wind field. Waves up to 20 feet high thundered against the coast, breaching seawalls and flooding entire neighborhoods. Streets disappeared beneath churning seawater. Wooden fishing boats were tossed onto rooftops and inland roads like driftwood. The town's beloved beachfront vanished beneath several feet of storm water. Emergency responders, including Mexico's civil protection units and the military, were immediately deployed to rescue those stranded in rising waters. In Puerto Escondido, a dramatic rescue unfolded as Marines reached a family clinging to their roof using an inflatable raft. Elsewhere, community volunteers formed human chains to help elderly residents wade across flooded streets. Shelters filled rapidly with schools and gymnasiums repurposed into temporary housing units. Volunteers distributed food, blankets, and medical supplies as communications faltered and power lines snapped, cutting off many neighborhoods from the outside world. While Puerto Escondido bore the brunt of the storm surge, the surrounding regions experienced equally catastrophic impacts. In Salina Cruz, a key port city in Oaxaca, the hurricane's full force was felt by midday. Torrential rainfall overwhelmed the city's drainage systems, transforming boulevards into rivers. Cars were swept away, debris littered the streets, and communication lines were cut in several districts. The mountainous terrain surrounding the city further amplified the disaster, with landslides crashing down onto homes and blocking vital roads. Key transportation routes between Oaxaca and Guerrero were shut down, hampering the arrival of emergency supplies and first responders. Meanwhile, inland rivers such as the Rio Tehuantepec breached their banks. Agricultural land was submerged, livestock displaced, and families forced to flee without notice. In remote towns like Laguna de Chacahua and Mazunte, residents found themselves stranded with limited supplies and no communication. The Mexican government had declared a red alert the night before across southwestern Oaxaca and southeastern Guerrero, the highest possible emergency level. With Erick's eye passing just 75 kilometers offshore from Puerto Escondido, authorities braced for direct impacts. Sustained winds reached up to 125 miles per hour, with gusts exceeding 155 miles per hour. Rainfall totals reached more than 10 inches in some areas, with significant threats of landslides and flash flooding expected to continue for days. Salina Cruz, already suffering severe inundation, experienced additional complications when mountainous runoff sent torrents of mud and water into densely populated neighborhoods. Entire blocks were left without electricity. The city's hospital operated on backup generators, and local officials scrambled to keep emergency services running despite the chaos. Despite the immense challenges, there were no immediate reports of widespread fatalities thanks to aggressive pre-storm evacuations and the resilience of local communities. The town of Lagunas de Chacahua saw more than 100 evacuees take shelter in school buildings, many of them fishermen and hospitality workers. Volunteers continued to distribute aid, while civil protection agents monitored river levels and enforced evacuation zones. This storm follows in the wake of 2023's devastating Hurricane Otis, a Category 5 cyclone that decimated Acapulco and claimed dozens of lives. Many in southern Mexico feared Erick would bring a similar toll. The structural damage is extensive. Coastal erosion has reshaped beaches and mangrove ecosystems. Sea turtle nesting sites have been obliterated. The tourism economy, already fragile from last year's storms, has taken another major hit. As Hurricane Erick slowly pushes further inland, authorities continue to assess the damage. In Guerrero, Acapulco, and surrounding municipalities remain on high alert for landslides and flooding. In Chiapas, river monitoring remains a priority as rainfall continues. More than 2,000 shelters have been activated across the 3 affected states. Meanwhile, the National Hurricane Center warns that conditions could remain unstable for days as residual moisture from Erick feeds further rainfall across the region. This is a stark reminder of the power of nature and the importance of early preparation. As southern Mexico begins recovery efforts, officials urge residents to remain vigilant, avoid flood zones, and follow official guidance closely. The storm has passed, but the challenges are far from over. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.